What's going on, Riding with the Get Down podcast? We got another video for y'all. Carmelo Anthony stabbing Austin Metcalf. This news, it just came about recently. It's not old news. It's still freshly new. And there's more details that have came about regarding his bond, how much they done lower the bonds, a certain amount. He's on house arrest. And real quick, before we get into the video, y'all hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on. That way you can be notified when I drop videos on this channel. Before we start playing it, I just want to say real quick, the Black community, we probably mo one of the most racist people that there is when it comes to killings, stabbings, all of that, you know, for him to do what he did to Austin. That wasn't right. You had killing on your mind. When you went there that morning, whatever day it is, whatever time it was, whatever, you had killing on your mind, Carmelo. You did. And we need to understand our actions that we do, there are consequences to everything that we do that happen in life. There's consequences to it. It is. But we're gonna react to this video real quick.
2025, a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas, turned into a scene of tragedy. Two 17-year-old students, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony, crossed paths under a team tent at the district meet. An argument over a seating spot erupted, and within seconds it escalated into a
Hold on, real quick. Y'all heard that right? An argument over a seating. An argument over a seating. Hey, bro, what you doing there? That's my seat. Why you sitting there? Hey, man, it's just a seat. I'm sitting here. Oh, what you going? An argument over a seating area under a tent? I mean, is it really that serious when we decide to kill somebody? I'm gonna kill you because you ain't got the right colors on. I'm gonna kill you because you got some nice shoes on and I don't. I'm gonna kill you because you got more money than I do. Like, what? What? You gonna kill me over something so small like that? Oh man, let me read this real quick to y'all off the phone. It says Carmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old, is charged with first-degree murder in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf, also 17, at a high school track meet. Anthony allegedly stabbed Metcalf after a scuffle, claiming self-defense. The case is being persecuted by the Collin County District Attorney Office, and a grand jury will determine whether to indict him on murder charge or a lesser charge. Capital B News provides more details on the case. The stabbing occurred at a high school track meet in Kai Kendo Stadium. Accusation: Anthony is accused of fatally stabbing Metcalf. Charge: he's been charged with first-degree murder. Self-defense claim: Anthony claimed he was acting in self-defense after a scuffle, according to arrest reports. Legal proceedings: a grand jury will review the evidence and decide on the indictment. Potential punishment. If convicted, Anthony can face a mandatory life sentence, but will be eligible for parole after 40 years. And misinformation and threats. Anthony's family has reported receiving threats and facing misinformation about the case, including a false GoFundMe page, according to Capital B News. So, there's a lot that's just really spiraling with this case. It really is. First of all, people asking, was there security around? Was anybody around when Carmelo was like, I'm finna go ahead and kill this nigga. I'm finna get well, he ain't a nigga, but still, I'm finna go ahead and kill him. We call everybody nigga, black people. Let's just be real. We call everybody that. We do. But you had murder on your mind, Carmelo. You have murder on your mind, going there and killing him. And obviously, the riffraff, it might have started prior to this day. Whatever y'all were beefing about, you held all those emotions in. And when this day was here, you're like, yeah, I'm finna go up there and I'm finna kill him. I'm finna kill him. That was your intent, Carmelo. You need to be honest and say, yeah, that was my mindset as a 17-year-old. You're not young. You are of age where you know stuff. You're not young. You should be like, yeah, that was my intent to kill him. That was your intent to kill him. Let's play a little bit more. And I'll react more probably towards the end of the video, but we're gonna get more into it so we can see what else it says.
Fatal confrontation. By the end of that morning, Austin lay mortally wounded from a stab wound to the chest, and Karmelo was in police custody, accused of murder.
Look at him. He just looked bad. He looked like, oh, I got evil in my eye. I'm finna go kill somebody. That's what he looks like. I'm finna go kill somebody. Hey, usually the way a child acts and behaves is from what they're seeing at home with their parents. And 9 times out of 10, we do carry the traits of our parents. We do. But you got to be the one to be like, nah, if my parent was a killer, or if they did this and they did that, I can't, no, I can't do this because I'm trying to be great in life. I can't carry that same trait. Well, Carmelo, you did it. You did it. So obviously your mom or your daddy, one of them was like that when they were in school. And now look at you. You done killed somebody. You killed somebody.
This true crime story isn't about hardened criminals, but about two teenagers and a split-second decision that ended one life and forever altered another. What happened that day at the track, and how did a routine school event descend into violence? Welcome to Bad Things. This episode will examine the incident with a measured, factual approach and try to determine the most likely cause to why Karmelo Anthony killed
They both did
Austin
sports. Both did
Metcalf.
sports.
Austin Metcalf. Austin was a 17-year-old junior at Frisco Memorial High School and a talented multi-sport athlete. Known as an honor student with a 4.0 GPA, he was recently voted his football team's
4.0, 4.0.
at 6 feet tall and
Your GPA that high, you got a lot of schools looking at you like, yeah, I think I wanna recruit him. 4.0. Dang. And he wasn't even a senior. He was a junior. Wow.
star linebacker. Austin dreamed of playing college football and had drawn interest from schools for his athletic and academic prowess. He was also a member of the school's track and field team, competing at the meet that
Football
day.
and
Beyond
track and field.
statistics, friends and family remembered Austin as a bright young man with a great future ahead of him.
Need
to run Windows on your Mac? Parallels Desktop. A leader of men whose smile could light up the room, in the words of his father, Jeff. Austin had a twin brother, Hunter, who was equally close to him. The pair were inseparable, having been born only 2 minutes apart. Together,
Wow.
the Metcalf brothers shared a bond through sports and family. They had even gone on a hunting trip with their dad the weekend before the tragedy, making memories that would become all the more precious after that fateful day. Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo, no relation to the NBA player of a similar name, is also 17 and was a student athlete attending Frisco Centennial High School. Like Austin, he was active in sports. In fact, Karmelo played as a free safety on his school's football team and was said to have received some interest from colleges, mostly Division III, for his athletic talents. Academically,
Well, you messed it up, Carmelo. You did. You done messed that up for yourself.
members describe Karmelo as an A student, 3.7 GPA, who even juggled 2 part-time jobs, painting a picture of a hard-working teen. Those who know him assert that he's not what they're making him out to be in media narratives, and that he had never met Austin prior to the day of the incident.
That has to be a lie because nobody in their right mind is just gonna say, "Oh, I'm finna go to this school and just stab somebody randomly." They have had to have some kind of connection, some kind of communication. They seen each other somewhere, somehow. You're not just gonna do that random. Oh, I'm finna go to this school and I'm just gonna kill somebody randomly. No. You know somebody at that school, your intent is to go up there and to hurt them. Come on now.
His family has emphasized their faith and requested compassion, expressing sympathy for Austin's family, while also defending Karmelo's character. Everyone has already made their assumptions about my son, but he was not the aggressor, one of Karmelo's parents told the reporter, stressing that this tragedy has devastated both families. It's clear that in many ways, Carmelo was a typical high schooler with college aspirations, now thrust into a very untypical and grim situation. The backdrop for this incident was a UIL District 11 5A championship track meet at Kuykendall Stadium in Frisco. The meet brought together athletes from multiple high schools in the area. Each school's team had its own area or tent on.
Okay, right there, the track meets. There you go. The track meets. All of them from the different schools all met with each other. That's how he knew Austin. They bumped into each other. I'm sure they talked or whatever the case may have been. But that's how they even came to be known of each other. They had a track meet and the different schools were there.
Guidelines for students to gather between events. It was around 10 a.m. on April 2nd, 2025, a Wednesday, when crowds of teenagers, coaches, and some parents were present to compete and cheer. The atmosphere, initially filled with the usual excitement and nerves of a scholastic sports event, would soon turn chaotic and horrifying. Importantly, Austin and Carmelo came from different schools, Memorial and Centennial, respectively, and by all accounts, did not know each other personally before that day. They only converged by chance because Carmelo was in or near the tent designated for Austin's team, setting the stage for the confrontation. No one present could have imagined that a minor turf disagreement in the middle of a friendly track meet would escalate to lethal violence.
Mine was first,
Timeline of
y'all.
the day's events. Morning of April 2nd, 2025. The track meet begins. Students arrive at Kuykendall Stadium early for the district track meet. Austin, accompanied by his twin brother Hunter and fellow Memorial High teammates, set up under the Memorial team's tent on the field. Carmelo was present with Centennial High's track contingent, wearing a Centennial tracksuit according to witnesses. Sometime around mid-morning, possibly close to 10 a.m., Carmelo ended up under or near the Memorial team's tent, seeking shade or a place to sit. This did not go unnoticed. Witnesses recall that members of the Memorial team, including Austin and Hunter, questioned why Carmelo was in their area instead of his own school's section. "Who are you?" someone asked. Carmelo replied, "I'm Mello," using his nickname. The Memorial students then told him, in essence, that you're in the wrong spot. You need to go sit with your team, as Austin's father later explained. What began as a simple request for Carmelo to move to his school's area soon escalated into an argument. Confrontation under the tent. Rather than moving away immediately, Carmelo responded confrontationally. According to a probable cause affidavit compiled from multiple eyewitnesses, Austin asked Carmelo to move from under the memorial tent, and in response, Carmelo reached into his backpack and issued a warning. "Touch me and see what happens."
Why are you bringing any weapon to a sports engagement? Why are you bringing any weapon to a sports engagement? You are 17. This is at a track meet. I'm not just finna just have a weapon on me just because. Granted, this is crazy out here. It is. But you 17. You 17. Did you buy that knife or blade or whatever the heck you had with your own money? Did you steal it out of your parents' room? I mean, you're at a track meet. Why did you even bring that? Again, it goes back. Your intent when you seen him was to touch and hurt him and to kill him. And by all means, again, where is security? Because I know when the fair comes around or any big social event that a lot of people have, concerts, games, whatever the case is, there's security set up outside the gates with a little metal detector that you have to walk through because they're trying to see if you have any weapons or anything on you. When it starts alerting, beep 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 and going off, it lets them know, okay, you got something on you, step to the side, let me just check you, whatever. What was it? Was that here? Was that here at the track meet? Because obviously it couldn't have been. If it was, there would have been security or police that seen that and been like, young man, you need to step to the side, okay? We need to talk to you or either get us your parents, take it out your bag, yada yada yada, ABC. So why wasn't that there? Why wasn't that there?
Those words, chilling in hindsight, indicated that Karmelo was prepared to retaliate if anyone put hands on him. At that moment, tension spiked among the small group of teens.
He's angry. He
Austin,
was already
as the
angry.
natural leader, likely felt
He was angry going to that track meet. He was angry already. He was angry already going to that track meet. There's no way in heck I would allow my son or daughter to go to a track meet without at least checking a bag because kids are sneaky. They are. A lot of kids are sneaky these days. A lot of teenagers are very sneaky these days. You got to watch your children. You do.
for maintaining his team's space and enforcing the request. He physically touched or tapped Karmelo, perhaps to guide him out of the tent or assertively signal that he needed to leave. Karmelo did not back down. Instead, he allegedly challenged Austin further, effectively daring him. He told Austin to punch him and see what happens next. The situation was spiraling rapidly from verbal to physical. In the next moments, Austin moved as if to forcibly push or escort Karmelo away from the tent area when suddenly Karmelo pulled out a knife from his backpack. A 30-second struggle turns deadly. What ensued was brief and tragic. Multiple witnesses reported that within seconds of the initial contact, Karmelo lunged with the knife and stabbed Austin in the chest. The entire altercation, from the first words to the stabbing, lasted less than 30 seconds, according to the affidavit, and this version of events was corroborated by several eyewitnesses on the field. Coaches and students nearby watched in shock as Austin staggered after the single devastating blow. The knife had pierced his heart,
And there goes
according to
dad
later
right
statements
there.
by his father. Karmelo then fled a short distance from the tent amidst the commotion, dropping or concealing the knife as people began to realize what had happened. At approximately 10 a.m., 911 calls summoned police and paramedics to an incident at the stadium. Immediate aftermath. Help arrives. Coaches from various schools, athletic trainers, and bystanders rushed to Austin's aid within moments. Several Frisco ISD coaches encircled Austin as he collapsed, and trainers began CPR and other life-saving measures to try to stem the bleeding. In a heart-wrenching scene, Austin's twin brother Hunter was at his side. Hunter witnessed the attack and immediately pressed his hands over Austin's wound, desperately attempting to stop the bleeding. As Hunter cradled his brother, Austin gasped for help and then went still. According to the family, Austin grabbed his chest and fell into Hunter's arms, losing consciousness within seconds. Hunter later recalled through tears, "I looked at my brother and I tried to help him, but there was only so much a teenager could do in that moment." In those frightening minutes, the track meet came to an abrupt halt as students and teachers realized a terrible violence had occurred. Some stood shocked, others screamed or ran to find help. Police encounter with Karmelo. Frisco police officers arrived on the scene swiftly after the emergency calls. They found chaos on the field. A gravely injured student being tended to, and many distraught witnesses. Officers quickly located Karmelo, who had distanced himself from the immediate area of the stabbing, but had not left the stadium. A witness had pointed out a bloodied knife on the ground, which police secured as evidence, covering it with a tarp. Officers confronted Karmelo at gunpoint, ordering him to put his hands up. At that point, Karmelo did not resist arrest. In fact, as the first officer approached him, Karmelo shouted a startling phrase, "I was protecting myself." This was his spontaneous claim that he had acted in self-defense. The officer carefully took Karmelo into custody, and while doing so, referred to him as an alleged suspect in the stabbing. In response, Karmelo apparently blurted out a confession. "I'm not alleged, I did it,"
He was
said,
honest.
according to the police affidavit. The exchange was brief but telling, as Karmelo both admitted to the stabbing and attempted to justify it in the same breath. As officers escorted him off the field, Karmelo became emotional. He reportedly continued to defend his actions, saying,
"Three signs your car accident is worth major compensation. If you've been in a car accident recently..."
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. At one point, Carmelo even asked police, could this be considered self-defense? These words, later documented in the affidavit,
Mm.
show that mere minutes after the incident, the 17-year-old was already grappling with the reality of what he had done and the possible justification for it. Meanwhile, paramedics rushed Austin to a local hospital. Hunter and other family members followed behind, praying for a miracle. But despite advanced medical
Mm.
interventions, including CPR en route and even the administration of blood by first responders at the scene, Austin could not be saved. He was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital, a fact that would send waves of grief through the community. Theories. What led to the stabbing? Investigators and the community have worked to understand why this altercation turned deadly so quickly. Several theories and perspectives have emerged based on witness statements, the suspect's account, and broader discussions in the aftermath. We will explore these interpretations, keeping them within the bounds of known evidence, and try avoiding unwarranted speculation. Theory 1. Self-defense in a sudden fight. This is the narrative Carmelo Anthony himself put forward from the moment he was apprehended. According to this theory, Carmelo felt threatened and acted to protect himself. Supporters of this view point out that Carmelo was outnumbered, being in another team's area, when confronted by Austin and possibly other memorial athletes. It's alleged that Austin initiated physical contact. He put his hands on Carmelo after Carmelo refused to move. Carmelo's family and attorney argue that he did not go to the meet intending to harm anyone, but was sitting quietly until approached, and that he drew his knife.
Yeah, but still, you don't bring a knife to the track meet. You don't bring any kind of weapon to that track meet. You don't. You don't at all. Granted, it probably wasn't his intention to hurt Austin, but you did it anyway. You did it anyway. You did. Now you gotta face the consequences of that, Carmelo, of your actions. You are 17 years old, and so was Austin. Y'all are still babies, really, because y'all ain't hit adult life. You know what you did. You know what your intentions were. You know what you did.
When he feared he might be jumped or attacked by larger players. The fact that Austin did touch or grab Carmelo is not in dispute. By Carmelo's account, this was a trigger that made him believe he had to defend himself. His lawyer, Derek Walpole, speaking the next day, noted, "My client said it was self-defense. I don't have any reason to disbelieve that. I don't have any reason to think it wasn't self-defense at this time. Under this theory, the knife was produced as a defensive reaction to a perceived assault. Carmelo's split-second decision to swing the blade could have been driven by panic or reflex, without intent to kill, but rather to stop the person he felt was attacking him." Those sympathetic to Carmelo also highlight his clean record and good standing as a student. They suggest that something must have genuinely scared him in that moment for him to resort to violence. This perspective does not claim that the outcome was justified, but posits that Carmelo believed he was in danger of serious harm when he struck Austin with the knife. Theory 2. An overreaction, aggressor scenario. Another perspective, shared by many witnesses and by Austin's family, is that Carmelo was the primary aggressor and grossly overreacted to a routine request. In this view, the confrontation should have remained a minor annoyance, a brief verbal dispute at worst, but escalated only because Carmelo chose to introduce a deadly weapon almost immediately. Multiple eyewitnesses attested that Carmelo issued provocative challenges, touch me and see what happens, punch me and see what happens, and was the first to brandish a
See, you can't say that. You cannot say that, Carmelo.
weapon, even though Austin was unarmed and much of the interaction was verbal up to that point. The presence of a knife at a school event is itself seen as a red flag.
That's
Brought a knife
right.
to a
Yeah.
track meet, Austin's father said in disbelief, emphasizing that Karmelo had armed himself at a place where weapons had no reason to be. According to this theory, Austin's actions were not intended as an attack, but as an attempt to enforce rules, asking someone to leave the team's tent, or at most a shove to remove an intruder from their area. That does not equate to a life-threatening scenario, and thus pulling a knife and stabbing was a drastic and unjustified response. In fact, some witnesses imply Karmelo might have come into the tent already agitated or looking for trouble, since he didn't simply apologize or move when first asked. It's possible he interpreted the situation as an affront to his pride and reacted with anger rather than fear. Investigators noted that after the stabbing, Karmelo did not flee the premises entirely. Instead, he essentially admitted to the act, which could indicate he wasn't trying to get away with a crime, but perhaps felt somehow justified. However, critics of the self-defense claim argue that because Karmelo had time to utter warnings and challenges, he had time to choose a non-violent path, but didn't. Self-defense under the law generally requires an imminent threat to one's life. Being pushed or even punched in a scuffle at a school event would not typically justify lethal force. Therefore, this interpretation frames the incident as a tragic overreaction by Karmelo, a moment where teenage impulsivity and the presence of a knife turned a scuffle into a homicide. Theory 3. A tragic misunderstanding and failure of conflict de-escalation. A more nuanced theory doesn't place 100% of the blame on either teen, but looks at the event as a convergence of unfortunate factors and miscommunication. Both Austin and Karmelo may have felt disrespected in that moment. Austin possibly felt Karmelo was flouting team boundaries or ignoring his requests, while Karmelo felt singled out and provoked when multiple people confronted him. Neither intended a deadly outcome, but neither backed down. Psychologists note that teenage boys, especially athletes in a competitive environment, can experience adrenaline-fueled reactions to perceived slights. Here, there was no cooling off period. The confrontation went from 0 to 100 almost instantly. One can theorize that if any adult or coach had noticed and intervened at the first sign of argument, the stabbing might have been prevented. Unfortunately, by the time coaches realized something was wrong, the knife had already struck. The Frisco police chief later warned the public about rampant misinformation, hate, fear, and division swirling on social media about the case, urging people not to buy into false narratives. Some of those online narratives may have tried to cast the incident in racial or gang terms without evidence, or to blame the school district's security policies. In reality, there is no indication this was anything but a sudden personal dispute. Both teens involved were accomplished students, not known troublemakers. This theory sees the tragedy as a failure of conflict resolution, a clash of two youths when pride, poor communication, and the presence of a weapon led to a nightmare outcome. It's a reminder that a single rash decision, bringing a knife to school or laying hands on someone in anger, can have irreversible consequences. As one observer put it, this was an unimaginable sequence where everything that could go wrong did in the span of half a minute, turning what should have been a day of friendly competition into one of unspeakable loss. It's important to note that all of these theories remain subject to the ongoing investigation and legal process. Police and prosecutors will piece together the evidence to determine if this was legally self-defense or murder. Texas law on self-defense will scrutinize whether Karmelo had a reasonable fear for his life or of serious bodily harm at the time he used the knife. The early indicators, witness testimony, and the nature of the provocation seem to challenge the self-defense claim, but ultimately a court or jury may have to decide which narrative they believe.
Well, y'all heard it. Y'all heard all the evidence. Y'all heard all the pieces. Y'all heard the lows and the highs behind it. Um, again, this really could have been avoided. A lot of situations that do take place in our life, they can be avoided. But the big picture, the big thing that comes from this is a black young boy. They killed a white young boy. You guys are both 17 years old. Both of you guys had high GPAs. I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of college people were looking at you guys. Both of you guys did sports. Y'all both attended different high schools. Y'all were getting up there to becoming good, to becoming great, to becoming a good young man, both of you guys. But Carmelo, you took the wrong route. You took the wrong route and you let an evil spirit take over your physical feeling of what happened that day simply because you were under the wrong tent. And they were asking, could you please leave the tent and go under yours with all due respect? Austin, you should never put your hands on him. But hey, you're not here to hear any of this. Your dad, your mom, and your brother, they're here to hear all of it. Not just one person's side, both sides. Some people can be neutral about it. But at the end of the day, you stabbed a white boy. Okay, first and foremost, you stabbed a white boy. This was not your own people. It's not your own blood. You stabbed a white boy. The judge ultimately can choose what will happen to you because right now you on house arrest. And a lot of people don't really agree with that. They don't agree with you being on house arrest because of what you did. You first and foremost was not going to get the death penalty because you are under the age of 18. And anybody that's under the age of 18 that does commit a crime, death penalty is out of the decision, even if they wanted that to happen. You got to be an adult, higher up in your age for that to happen. Thank God that's not going to happen. But you, young man, you need to serve some crime. You do. White people can look at this now and say, yeah, this is racist. This is hate now. They can. I'm just being honest. They're the ones in rulership. They're the ones that control the country. Granted, not all of them, but majority of them, they have the same mindset. Or one of them killed one of ours. But see, we kill each other all day and we want to boo-hoo and cry about it. Well, we're not supposed to be doing that. But you touched one of theirs, Carmelo. You touched one of theirs. You did. Your mom and your dad did the press conference with your lawyer there. Your mom was crying, saying your sister is getting threats, and we get that. But look at what you did. This could have been prevented. It could have been prevented. But you killed a white boy. We have to say it because it is what it is. You killed a white boy. So the higher up people, the judges, even the jury, whatever they decide, they can let you have all those years that you're gonna serve. I mean, it's already said you're more than likely gonna get a life sentence. If you get parole, I mean, thank God, cool, but you need to do the time because of the crime that you just did, sir. You have got to do that. You ruined his future. You messed up your future. Now you have to ponder on it every day. If I was you, I don't even think I would really be able to sleep. I can't sleep knowing I just killed somebody. That don't sit right with me. Everybody ain't got that same mindset, but if it was me, I would never really be able to sleep. Knowing I killed somebody, and then that's how his family is looking at it. You're free. But my son, my brother, he gone. He's gone. So Carmelo, really take time because there's a lot of people that is just really shaking their head at you, and I'm one of them. I'm shaking my head at you as an older sister because I'm older than you. This is wrong on a lot of levels. You should never did that. You need to do the time. You do. Whatever they got set for you to do, you need to do that because of what you did. Again, like I said, this could have been avoided, but you chose to go up there to intentionally hurt somebody. Let's take Austin out of it, even though he's gone. Let's take him out of it. Even if it was another young man or even a young lady. You had a knife in your backpack going to that track meet, knowing it would be other kids there, knowing it would be other schools there. You already had it in your mind, murder, or I'm gonna kill somebody or hurt somebody. You already had that in your mind. You did. Why would you go there with a knife in your backpack? Your mom and dad, they did horrible, taking you there at least that day, not checking your bag to make sure you got everything you needed in there. And what was not needed in there was the knife. Again, you had murder or killing or hurting someone on your mind at a track meet. 17 years old, Carmelo. You are 17. Your life is done. It's done. It is. You messed it up. Sit down. Think about what you did. Yeah, you're on house arrest, but it's not going to be easy for you. The days and the months and possibly the years to come, it's not going to get it easier for you. It's not at all. So while you're on house arrest, you need to think about it every day. Think about what you did. All right, y'all. If y'all like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and turn your notification bell on so you can be notified every time I drop videos on this channel. If that is all, always remember, y'all, this is Vonnie with the Get Down podcast. We getting deep into these stories. We getting deep into these stories. I'll see you guys later. Peace.